Hi everyone, welcome to the Ravit Show. We are here at Gartner DNA, and I'm super excited to be with Hod, Chief Product Evangelist at K2view. Hod, exactly a year back we met here, and we
It's
are
been a
back.
year.
What changed? Tell us more about what changed, not only just in your role, but in general. What are you seeing things changing in the enterprise world?
Well, I'll start with my role. I'm a chief evangelist in K2view. My job is to meet in these events, meet customers and analysts and
Nice.
researchers, and really understand the market, understand the challenges, understand what companies are facing. And to your question about the past year, we've really seen companies moving away from the experimental and start to push things into production. And that created a gap where customers understand that it's a lot easier to demo and POC a few AI, Gen AI or a few agentic frameworks. It's a lot harder to roll it into production,
Yep.
leading to them to understand that you really need something fundamental change, a difference in how you prepare the data.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love how things have kind of changed and these insights as well. According to you, how does AI ready data architecture looks like at runtime? I'm kind of curious to know about that a little bit.
It's a great question. To answer that, we start by understanding that AI really starts bringing value when we move beyond the traditional, somewhat static, analytical scenarios. What is the average lifetime value for customers here in Orlando, and to more operational use cases. Use cases like supporting a customer representative, helping a live customer, helping an employee agent resolve or complete a transaction,
Right.
helping an operational team, make an in-the-moment decisions. These are the type of use cases where you really see meaningful value coming from AI. The challenge is that the traditional data architectures were not designed for these type of use cases. You take the likes of the data warehouse and the data lakes, they were designed for analytical and BI with everything from the throughput to the cost structure to the latency and the performance. You take an architecture like API, you get hundreds and thousands of segmented disparate API, each one with a fragment of data, leaving the AI agent with a complex task of piecing the pieces
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
resulting in very complicated AI agent, usually higher latency, higher performance,
True.
higher token costs, and even inconsistent result. What we learned now is that what AI agents really need is something that we call minimum viable data. And MVD, for short, is essentially bringing the exact, precise business contextual data that the AI need to resolve or to react to the specific task.
Yep.
And this is where data agents come in. Data agents are essentially a layer. They're a core layer between the AI agents and the enterprise. Their job is to interpret the request coming from the AI agent and find the MVD, find the minimum viable specific business contextual data that is needed in order to respond. Now, the key here is that separation, right? The fact that the AI agents don't have to deal with the complexity of the data integration makes them a lot more lightweight and portable. And leaving all the complexity of data to the agents across the different systems and technologies and formats.
Yeah, I love these points, and I just have a follow-up question here, which is, how do you dynamically assemble a complete business entity in real time when data lives across, dozens of operational systems? So how does all this happen?
Well, that's naturally a key question. When we think about the analytic use
Yep.
cases, these are mostly predefined, they're known, you don't really need to worry about that too much. But the operational use cases, take for example a customer calling a representative. The representative doesn't know if the customer is calling about orders or payments or invoices or claims or contracts. Each one
Right.
coming from a different system, a different technology, a different data format. And the key here is not to think of it system by system. The key is to think about the business context, right? How do we assemble that business context that is needed to respond to the query? And that's where data products come in. That's what K2view has been doing for the past many years. We build data products. These are essentially business contextual 360 view of your data. The data product is responsible to organize how the business context looks like across the many, many
Very
different
important.
systems and technologies and formats. And it not only integrates and synchronizes and brings, it also governs the data. Now you understand that in this runtime layer, you actually have two segments. You have the data products that are responsible to assemble the data and to
Yes.
govern and secure and sync.
Yep.
You have the data agents that interpret the requests from the AI agents and find the right business contact, find the right data products to bring the MVP. And that means that the AI agents now remain very, very lightweight and portable. You don't need to worry about that very complicated, how do we integrate the data across the different systems, make them a lot more scalable and a lot more manageable.
I love it. I love these points and fantastic insights. I have another follow-up question on this one. So, how does architecture support thousands of autonomous agents working in parallel without creating data chaos? Because that is something that I hear a lot as well. Uh, and that's just my curious question to you.
Well, I think that kind of ties all of it together because really it's easy to demo an agentic AI. It's easy to POC this. But when
Yes.
you talk about enterprise scale, suddenly you have
Massive.
hundreds and thousands of agents. If you give these agents direct access to all the different sources and you have to implement the logic of how to integrate the data in each agent, that creates chaos.
Chaos.
And the key here is to prevent the agents from directly accessing the data by giving this layer, the data products and the data agents, that really make it transparent. They don't need to worry about the complexity. They just ask for the data. The layer is responsible to collect this. So essentially, you have a layer that many, many agents can now use without needing to worry about the complexity of the integration. And that makes it a lot easier to scale your agents and to build and to support them.
Yeah, these are fantastic points. So one last question that I have for you, Odd, is if folks, any advice that you have for those enterprises out there who are wanting to scale without any data chaos, and any other advice that would help them in 2026?
Well, I would just say that looking ahead, the best advice is to consider the foundation, to consider the architecture and how you prepare the data. If your use case is analytical, and the data lakes will provide a wonderful solution. But if you really want to get the meaningful value from AI, you need to look at the operational use cases, invest in the infrastructure, invest in the foundation in earlier stage, because that will allow you to grow later on.
I love it. Hod, one more quick question, very easy one. If folks want to follow you, reach out and learn more about everything that you've mentioned today, where can they do that?
Well, reach out through our website, K2view.com. On LinkedIn, myself, you can find me there.
Fantastic.
We're here to explain about the foundation, the data products, the data agents,
I love it.
how to actually implement them in a way that enables the enterprise to move from playing around with AI to actual enterprise use cases.
Very important. Hod, once again, thanks for doing this. Always a pleasure chatting with
always
you
a
on the Ravit show, and can't wait to do this again very soon. Maybe no, we will not wait for a
Let's
year.
not wait until next year.
Yes,
Let's
we'll do it
do
sooner.
it earlier for sure.
Fantastic.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you
for
everyone
having
for
me.
joining today.